Most of us fail because we set goals we can't maintain. I'll show you how to keep moving forward even on your worst days. To accomplish a goal, we must perform actions. And in the case that you perform enough of a specific action or set of actions, they become habits. The way I see it is that your collection of habits form a system. Our goals can be in many different fields such as fitness, finance, and so on, which means we all have multiple systems that operate together. This is what I call an operating system. There are three main components when building your operating system: a baseline, your anchors, and your support. I base my operating system on the goal of freedom, and I'll walk you through it. The first step in building your operating system is to establish a baseline. I define a baseline as the default standard of your life. What I mean by this is even on your worst unmotivated days, you still get the things on your baseline done. You must complete your baseline every single day, and the purpose of it is to move forward even if it's just 1% a day. The things that are on my baseline are: 1. To read even if it's just one page of a book. 2. To journal what I'm thinking and things that happen during the day. And 3 is to do some sort of physical activity even if it's just 15 minutes. When it comes to your baseline, you shouldn't overwhelm yourself. Remember that it's a standard you have to maintain, not aim to accomplish. So don't think you're Superman and put 100 things on your baseline, because you're not Superman, buddy. Keep it simple. The next step is to establish your anchors and your support. Anchors are pivotal habits in achieving your specific goal. For example, if one of your goals is to have a net worth of $1 million, your anchor for that could be to improve your investing methodology through research and creating your own learning document. Another example is if your goal is to land a job in a specific discipline, your anchor could be practicing a skill like coding to improve your chances. In general, you should do a maximum of one of your anchors each day, as they're more heavy tasks and require more focus. Next is supports. Supports are like secondary, less intense anchors. I personally make my supports more mental exercise so I don't lose myself along my journey. But your supports can also be sort of like backup habits that work with your anchors to achieve your goal at a higher intensity. Some of my supports are things I call exploration hours, lessons book, and what I believe. The first support is lessons book. The way I define lessons book is just a small diary that I take everywhere, and it's a running collection of my life and personal experiences that I thought were really impactful. In a way, it's something I do to immortalize myself, my experiences and perspectives. I don't know if I would categorize it as legacy, but maybe it's something you can pass down. Your lessons book is completely based on you and independent experiences. It should be removed of any outside influence. The only thing I would say is maybe an experience involving someone else or something you witnessed about someone else prompted an entry. That's the most outside influence your entry should experience. Let me give you an example of an entry I made near the start of my book. As you can see, there's a format of the heading being the topic, the subheading being a sort of intro to the topic, bullet points for the body and actual content, and highlighted words for key concepts. If you thought about a flaw in this, you're clearly not a level 1 crook. The flaw is lessons become outdated. You may have been through things and no longer think the same thing, or you may even disagree with what you have written. This is where the next support comes into play. It's called What I Believe. It's less intense than the lessons book and is more of a personal belief document, which I think is really needed in today's day and age, because most people can't even form their own opinions and never have, but don't know it. And the thing is, it's not even their fault. Social media just enables it. The school system enables it. You have to go out of your way to not be a zombie. The way you approach this is to write down topics you want to really think about, form your opinion on, and explore why you think the way you do. Is it because you've been told to think like that, or is it because you've thought about it for yourself? It's my way of reaffirming my beliefs, but also questioning myself and asking, why do you have these beliefs? An example could be you writing about whether you think social media is damaging to relationships, or even your opinion on whether you think certain substances are bad, because you may even surprise yourself and not be able to express why you think these things are bad. You just learned to repeat what you've been told like a parrot. The reason why this can be seen as an improvement or addition to the lessons book is because you can alter your opinion with time. You can have an entry from, I don't know, a year ago, write the date and come across it maybe a year later and write your updated opinion. But in order to develop not only your self-assurance, but also your knowledge, you need to explore. In order to explore, you have to implement exploration hours. What exploration hours is simply a time to connect with yourself and get to know yourself better, specifically your interests and passions. In simple terms, is dedicated time a few times per week to explore and research about topics you're curious about with no pressure to produce outcomes or results. The purpose of it is to constantly learn and become knowledgeable about things that interest you. For example, some things I've researched are the concept of a jack of all trades versus specialist, the science behind allergies, logical fallacies, and a lot more. When navigating exploration hours, I would suggest that you create a note that you can add to at any time. Whenever you come across something you're interested in and want to know more about, add it to the list. And when you sit down and schedule the time, pick a topic from the list and research it. I physically write my research in a book dedicated to exploration hours, but you can do it in whichever way is easiest or most comfortable for you. Now that you have your system established, you have to outline your framework and make sure that your timeline to achieve what you set out stays on track. You need to update and review your journey. Just like your baseline, this is completely dependent on you and what you want to achieve. However, there are a few components of an operating system I would recommend everyone to have. First of all, you need monthly goals, not just overall goals. Your monthly goals should build up to your overall goals. For example, if your overall goal was to have an investment portfolio worth $1 million, your goal for that month could be to research 5 stocks on your watch list. When you're defining your goals, you should think as to whether the goal will meaningfully compound towards your overall aim. And when setting goals, they should be smart. The thing about all these components is they all interlink in a very powerful way. Something you may have researched in exploration hours could cause an epiphany and prompt you to make an entry in your lessons book, or some of your monthly goals could cause you to think about why you actually want to achieve the things you strive for and write about it in your What I Believe document. But what is information without application? Fuck the side quest. Your main quest is to create a baseline and post it in the Discord. By doing this, it can be critiqued and improved upon because that's what a community does. Follow this blueprint, review it, even tell me how it can be improved upon. And remember to operate like the best you.